The president is isolated and deeply wounded. His allies are deserting him. His critics are demanding that he either resigns immediately or should be evicted from office or impeached. The Speaker of the House was even more brutal today, saying a deranged man should not have access to the nuclear codes. Amid this sense of a national political emergency, Joe Biden said there almost certainly wasn't enough time to force Trump from office.
He's exceeded even my worst notions about him. He's been an embarrassment to the country, embarrassed us around the world, not worthy to hold that office. If we were 6 months out, we should be moving everything to get him out of office, impeaching him again, trying to invoke the 25th Amendment, whatever it took to get him out of office. But I am focused now on us taking control.
One growing question here is whether Donald Trump could be charged with inciting the mob violence on Wednesday. Was he partly responsible for what we witnessed as Congress was stormed? Just hours earlier, the crowd had been shouting, "Fight for Trump." And at that moment, the president was filmed backstage watching the crowd on video monitors, his son relishing the moment.
Mark Meadows, an actual fighter, one of the few.
Before Trump stepped out and urged his supporters to march on Congress.
We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country.
The chaotic scenes that followed have radically shifted all politics here. Especially with the news today that a policeman who was injured in the scuffles has now died. Last night, his fellow officers lined the streets on Capitol Hill, paying tribute, and even many Republicans are now turning on the president.
He swore an oath to the American people to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. He acted against that. What he did was wicked.
Facing that severe backlash, Donald Trump had no choice but to turn on the very supporters he has so long encouraged.
Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
And indeed, those who had ransacked Nancy Pelosi's office, scenes that we had watched and filmed for ourselves,
Here you go, brother.
are now being arrested. Among them, Richard Barnett, who even posed sitting at the Speaker's desk, his feet contemptuously on her desk. Invoking the 25th Amendment and removing the president appears far-fetched, with Mike Pence reportedly unwilling to wield that constitutional weapon. But impeachment of the president, that appears increasingly likely tonight, and proceedings could begin early next week.